What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Frank Mcfly. It's either the first video on my channel or it's either the only video on my channel at this time, because I'm starting fresh. So this kind of like what that video about. This video is about me giving my life to Christ, giving my life to Yah, giving my life to God. So this go into like a lot of people been asking me like, oh, why you took down your music, or why you don't post this, or I see you recently gave your life to God. You know what I mean? Like how you make that transition? What's this about? So there's a lot of questions that's wrapped in. And it's also great, you know what I mean, to share your testimony and people could see like what you've been through and the boldness of you making that decision, because it's really like a bold decision to make. You know what I mean? Sometimes that can inspire other people to also help make their decision that they've been wanting to make. Grew up in Brooklyn, Brownsville. It's like one of the worst neighborhoods in New York City, one of the worst neighborhoods in the whole United States type of thing. So killing, shootings, people on drugs, it's real condensed. It's a bunch of project building, real condensed. And I just say that to say like, that's what I grew up around, you know what I mean? Like the hood type of thing. Like we all know, or if you don't, I'll put up some pictures and videos.
The shooting broke out just Brooklyn on Monday. We had 8 people shot.
It's ridiculous because it happens too much.
Total of 5 people shot. The youngest one, 20.
Stabbed in the neck Friday afternoon.
Growing up, you know, regular, when you growing up in these situations, you don't really know you living in poverty or living in a bad situation. And not that I'm complaining about how I grew up, because he put us through certain situations and certain circumstances for us to even have a testimony, you know what I mean, and find him in different ways. My parents wasn't in church heavy. Like I go to church with my sister, she was in church heavy. I go to church with my sister Kim. Me and my boys, we went to ran to church with me and my moms too, but it wasn't like, that's not what we do. It's not like every Sunday you're gonna catch us in church. So I never really grew up around church or religion, stuff like that. You know, everybody grandmother always praying for them. Like, so now growing up all through younger days, high schools, I always had like a different mind frame. And I think that's because my father was older, like an older dude. He's way older than my mother. So I grew up around a lot of older people, even when I was young. Growing up, a lot of my friends was heavy in the street life. You know, using drugs, selling drugs, killing, getting killed. It's just a lot we go through. We used to get shot at, all kind of craziness. Like a lot of people look at me and wouldn't expect certain lifestyle. They'd be like, "Oh, I ain't think you lived there, or I ain't think you've been through that." So it's good to tell your story sometimes. You know, most of us live similar lives. You know what I mean? So you regular living in the world, turning up, going through different experiences, whether that's peer pressure from the streets. When you growing up in these neighborhoods, a lot of people is not in the word themselves or don't have a relationship with Christ. You can see like the demonic forces in these certain areas, because they putting you in a certain direction that's not even beneficial. Like they not even good at where they at in life. Like it's advice that they wouldn't even give them younger selves, but they giving it to you. Oh, now you gotta have 10 girls or you can't just have one. So advice like that, it's just silliness. So fast forward to high school, I was super popular. Like, you know, New York City is mad condensed and I'm all over. Like I'm popular, super popular. We in all the parties, we in all the events. I'm gonna post some pictures y'all can see. I'm like, nah. I'm gonna put up some throwback pictures. But you just lit in that worldly sense. Like that lit, I was that lit. Like all the parties. I was on a basketball team, so you know how that goes, sports, jock stuff. And I was real good at like science and math. Those were my favorite subjects. I was heavy in my books, so I always had a nice balance. I think that's what helped me out a lot, because I always had different types of friends from different walks of life. Like I ended up going to Midwood High School, so I was in a Mensa program though. So in most of my classes, it was a lot of white and Chinese. It'd be like 2 black kids in each of my classes. I think God blessed me by helping me see so many people, so many different religions, interact with so many people, so you could really see it could change your perspective on the way you view other people. You know what I mean? I connected to a lot of different races and a lot of different people. That I had that mindset of like we all go through similar things. You know what I mean? So the pictures is funny. Like you be like, nah, I was bugging. Like when you think back, I know everybody think back like your preset days. You like, nah, I was bugging. When you really sit down and think of it, it'd be a lot of things you do. Like you might be having relationships with a bunch of different people, but it might be real confidence issues or self-esteem issues that you blocking by doing all these type of things. Might be turning up drinking because you don't want to go to your crib. Like you staying out 4 or 5 in the morning because you don't want to go at your crib. But when you in the middle of this lifestyle, you thinking like, nah, I'm lit. Like I stayed up I went to the party at 6 o'clock, never went home, went to this person's house, came home in the shower and went back out because it's just a lit weekend. But it's like, nah, you running away from really chilling in your crib, running away from really having that silent time. Fast forward, we in high school, we lit. Get out of high school, we still lit. I'm doing music, so I'm traveling all over. I'm having a bunch of different shows. It's kind of like that rapper lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't no Lil Wayne and all that type of stuff, but it was still that rapper lifestyle, that turned up club, drink, party, girls, travel, shows, you know what I mean? Interviews, fame. There's a lot of pride, ego, you know what I mean? False confidence. You know, you self-proclaiming like you really lit, you know what I mean? But you really lost in the process. Like, even doing all that, you still trying to find your purpose. You still trying to find your why. Because you say like, I don't want to get rich and do this, but through the process, I'll meet so many different people, millionaires, you know what I mean? Some billionaires, and they'll just tell you like they not happy. And you be like, how are you not happy? You got this 550, you got that jet, you got this boat, and they tell you you're not happy. So that's the blessing of even having them perspectives, because some people will lie to you. And not saying everybody that got money is not happy. I'm just saying certain things that we aim for that think we gonna be happy because of it, most of the time we don't be. It's coming from where I'm coming from. Like I'm saying, I grew up in Brownsville, so everybody raw, like hustlers, scammers, you know what I mean? Shooters, killers, robbers, what people paint as raw and bugged out, you know what I mean? And I wasn't into none of that. I had a clothing line, nonprofit, never cursed too much. I did cool interviews, I had a cool perspective, you know what I mean? I could feel like, I felt like I was a leader. I never was a follower into foolishness, even though I was influenced and do a lot of stuff. But I'm just saying, like, from a worldly, regular root, people would be like, yo, God bless you, yo, blah, blah. Yo, he always got you. But I had no relationship. And of course, especially doing music, you always be like, I'm not going to sell my soul, or I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for my family. This and this. And all through that, you have no relationship. Me and Cardi used to go to church all the time. And when you think, like, we used to write stuff down, but we never looking at our notes. Yes, I look back at certain old posts I posted on Facebook. Excuse me. I'm going to put it up here. Certain old posts I posted on Facebook. And you could tell, like, God really be pulling on us, too. So it's like why I gave my life. But through all this story, I could have been got killed thousands of times, hundreds of times, shot. So many things could have happened to you, and it really be like he got a pull on you. You know what I mean? I could have been so many places, and sometimes, you know, I used to be wishing like, dang, I wish I been got famous, or I wish I did this. And it's not the bad to people that I was with, but the people I was with at that time that's lit and popular, I do not care to be with them or around them in these circles. You know what I mean? So I'm doing all of this kind of stuff, like I Give Back program. We started that in 2014 to now. So we doing like book bag drives, back to school events. So people looking like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you a great person. You an angel. Oh man, you an angel. I also settled and stopped a lot of beef also. But you an angel, you really going for that recognition for self. Like, you're not thinking like, nah, God did this or this. You really trying to do for self. Like, it's when you come and really think like, yo, he been trying to get me on the winning team, you know what I mean? Because it says if you're not on his side, if you're not with him, you against him. And that's the small line I don't think a lot of people understand. Like when I was saying we doing music, and be like, I'm not selling my soul. And the funny part is, I wasn't even saved nothing yet. And I said this in the interview, but I was like, a lot of people always talking about selling their soul. But if you doing music, and I guess it was like I don't know what it was speaking through me, but the ironic part, I was on that type of music. Like I wasn't doing it all the way, but it's that lukewarmness. Like I'm half in, half out. I'm trying to teach, but I'm down with it. You know what I mean? You're not with them, you against them automatically, because you talking about the wrong things. You already sold your soul. Like if I'm talking about killing my brother and smacking somebody doing this, so then it was little steps. I had took a break. Then like 2015, I met my wife, Sade. Well, this before we got married, but 2015, I met Sade. And that's really a blessing too, when you gotta have people it's like God really put people in your life that's gonna transition in a certain way. Cause you could really be with somebody else that take you that way. You be like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? You see them couples, it'd be a girl or a guy that don't even smoke. They get in a relationship, now they a weed head. You'll see somebody that's mad cool, they get in a relationship, they got anxiety or anger problems. It's like, who you be with is real important. So that's a blessing alone. Like, she had a whole different, what you call that joint past than I had. She ain't never get into a bunch of fights, shootout, beat up, stab, all that craziness. She ain't grow up in that environment. She a Jersey girl, not me. I mean, I was in New York with it. All the homies get a jersey, girl. So me and her kicking it. Now her family and stuff was going to church and all that type of stuff. So I'm thinking like, yeah, this is it. Like we going to church, we doing all of this. It's that normal view of, what's that verse? Hold on. A lot of people don't be bad people, but people don't really be having a relationship with Yah, really have a relationship with God. Because you gotta be in your word. And what is it? In James 1:22, you gotta be just doers. You gotta be doers of the word, not just hearers. A lot of people hear a little bit, use what they want to hear in the scripture, but don't really dive in. People be going to church and still dealing with so many different things, or not growing spiritually because they don't apply themselves to practical things. I think that's why one of the reasons he said faith without works. Now, if you're doing certain things, it don't matter. You seem like deemed good as a good person from the outside looking in, but you know yourself, you don't have a relationship. It's like you be like, all right, I got a parachute on, so I'm about to jump out this plane because I know the parachute gonna save me. Now, if everybody jumping out the plane, they proving that they have faith in that parachute. But if you staying in, you saying, no, I think the parachute gonna save me, but you're not jumping out that plane. You know what I mean? All right, so yeah, fast forward, we've been together a couple years. We going through our little drama. We talking. So me, I always thought about dating and relationships for marriage in general. So this really was truly my first girlfriend too, because I already kind of knew. And I was living wild as we all saw these pictures and all the other stuff. So we going through a lot of little issues, stuff like that. We like, yo, before we get married, we got to straighten this thing out. We've been working on communication. I had horrible communication. She's been praying for my communication and stuff like that. So she used to sing gospel when she was young and stuff like that. So I could say she had a greater relationship with God than me. Even both our relationships wasn't that great because we was doing things that we shouldn't be doing, whether that's having sex, whether that's spending the night with each other, cursing, living foul, not living for the Lord, dressing inappropriately, all of that craziness. But she was singing gospel. She grew up, her father was in a quartet group. His grandfather was in a quartet group, and it's been passed down. I forgot the name of it. The Rugged Cross. I believe it's the Rugged Cross in Jersey City. That's her great-grandfather group. Her father and her grandfather did together. They in Glory Boys. Check that out. They got some heat too. We was looking for like a free class. We broke. We ain't have no money, and we was looking for a Christian one because we had kind of discernment. We wasn't really with certain things other like therapy sessions kind of do. Like we wasn't with no sage or like no meditation and stuff like that. And there's no offense to anybody that's using it. We just wasn't with it personally. And we was looking for a Christian-based one also because we like, when you get married, they be like, you know what I mean? God, like this is about God, this is about the Bible, you know what I mean? They gotta bless your marriage. So we wanna find out the true thing. First I went to my man's Josh, shout out to my boy Josh, his pops. I went to him, so with us, my wife, the type of wife God bless me with is that she gonna get down to the problem. You know how sometimes other people be like, sometimes be like, oh, it's not that serious from Let It Rock. No, it's that serious for her. Like, if I leave the light on 10 times, it's that serious. Like, yo, what's going on? We really got to sit down and figure out why I left the light on, whatever the case may be. That's just a small example. It'd be like that for mad stuff. But the benefit in that is that we grow to communicate good and really get mad stuff out and really grow and combine to some next level. Like, that's a big thing in marriage. So when we went to my man's Josh marriage class, his pop's like, nah, y'all good, y'all ready to get married? We like, nah, because we talked to our aunt. She had went to a marriage class, she said the marriage class was like, they was trying to break y'all up. So that's what we was expecting. So when he came like, yo, y'all ready? We like, nah, we need to go to another one because he gave us too much good energy. We need to get tested type of thing. That's what we feeling. Spoke to Charlie's grandmother. She signed up for Dr. O at Agape. She was going to Agape Roy also. Dr. O like, yeah, we got this free marriage class. It's gonna be in a couple months. I'm gonna put the link too. Y'all can sign up for that too if y'all need marriage class. That one is heat. Shout out to Don and Deb. They run that marriage class. They was married for a long time. It's a bunch of couples in there married for a long time. So now in this joint, let me get the book. So in this marriage class, they had us get at this book right here. It's called Preparing for Marriage by Dennis Rainey. So we got all kind of notes and all that type of stuff. So diving into here had us diving into the word deep because we diving in how God want our marriage to be. And it had us face a lot of things like getting to know you, your family, true spiritual views, just spiritual views, had you talk about certain questions that you would never think about, you know what I mean? Okay, if your child do this, then what you would do? And they ask, what will she do? So we find division in that one thing right there. That's something that we got to think about before we get married. So that class was great. Now, me personally, I was never confused about what I was repping, but I was confused about what it was. I used to be like, yeah, all gods is the same. They just got different names. Wrong. Or I used to be like, nah, everybody probably go to heaven. God love everybody. Wrong. Not that he don't love everybody, but you gotta love him back. So in this class, I'm meeting a bunch of people. Like now, where I grew up, it's not to play my neighborhood or my family, but I didn't have a lot of loving people. Like I didn't know a lot of married people, but in this class, there's a bunch of married people because they all was like the teachers that give us advice. They all godly men. They all have a relationship with God. You know what I mean? Relationship with the Father, Yah, relationship with Jesus Christ, relationship with Yeshua. I'm getting to know them, so they became my mentors on that level. So now I'm going to church on Sunday and looking at it different. I'm starting to read my word. The main thing is reading your word. That's why it's here. You know what I mean? It's God breathed. Read that word and really get to know. You're not going to love nobody you don't know. You got to get to know what he did for you, that he really died for you, really died for your sins. His grace is really for you. You got to know that he really loved you and that he had a plan for you specifically to get you here and get you on deck, and he wants you right. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, the certain rules and regulations you got is not doing you wrong. The 10 Commandments is not doing you wrong. Loving God before all other gods is not doing you wrong. Not using God's name in vain is not doing you wrong. Not coveting nothing is not doing you wrong. Keeping the Sabbath is not doing you wrong. Not talking about your neighbor, no false testimony about your neighbor is not doing you wrong. Murdering somebody, come on, that's not doing you wrong. Not stealing from somebody is not doing you wrong. Being an adulterer is not doing you wrong. So it's like all of these things is not doing you wrong. Honoring your mother and your father, like come on, we could do this. So I'm learning this and living this, and I'm gaining more peace, more clarity, more wisdom. I'm like, nah, this is it. I was still 1 foot out, 1 foot in though. Now fast forward, so we in the marriage class. I forgot how long it was. I think it was like 12 weeks. So I feel like, yo, I'm building my relationship. We doing breakdowns, you know, you crying, go in your prayer closet, they praying for me heavy because I'm still, even though I'm doing all this, I'm still lukewarm. I still do all of this and chilling. I'm still going to brunch on Sunday morning. I'm still going to brunch after church on Sundays. I'm still partying late Saturday, waking up for church late on Sunday. I'm still doing what I want to do. I still got Little Dirk blasting. So I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And this is me personally, because all of this stuff is based on my conviction about me being lukewarm. You know what I mean? And I put the definition for lukewarm up here. So I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, even though I accepted it and I'm down with it, I'm not really living for the Lord. You know what I mean? Now, I say I love him. I'm reading the word. I read the commandments, but I still might lie. I still might steal. I still might do this. Like sometimes we give ourselves excuses, be like, nobody perfect, but you know you're not going 100%. Like you're not trying your hardest. Now, nobody perfect. I feel nobody perfect is cool if I'm trying my hardest. Like if I'm trying my hardest and still fall, I can't be mad at myself. But I can't be not even running, you know what I mean? And fall and be like, what? Like if I'm trying to really do my best, then I could say like, you know, nobody's perfect. I messed up. But rewind back, my pops had passed in my pops had passed in 2012. That's a year after I graduated high school. Pops had passed 2012, so it wasn't really no role models or like, oh, I want to be just like this person, just like that person. I really never had no role models. I had to put a bunch of things together. Now fast forward, these some people I'm looking up to because I want that, and not in the I want to be just like them way, but like that's dope. Like I want to be married 50 years and have some peace and have this, you know what I mean? Have that some clarity, live a purposeful life. Like these are things I want. You read in the word, you like, this is dope. These are real warriors. You know what I mean? You riding for something that's righteous and holy. So all of this is going on, right? Boom. Brother called me, yo, it's my birthday. Y'all gotta do something. Like, what you want to do? He like, I want to go to Aruba. I'm like, oh, that sound lit. He like, yeah, tell all the guys. I tell all the guys, yo, it's going down. We going to Aruba. Boom, we go to Aruba. So now I'm lukewarm right now. So I went from believing God is real but not knowing him, to getting to know him but doing what I want to do, to knowing him but doing what I want to do, lukewarm. Now I'm in that middle phase. I'm knowing him, getting to know him a little bit more, but I'm still doing what I want to do. I'm still violating a bunch of the commandments, and I'm still not waking up thinking about I gotta live for the Lord. You know what I mean? I'm not waking up thinking about, I'm not referring back to nothing. So I'm in Aruba. We on tilt, bunch of parties, boat party this. It's just so much stuff. You can't really put your life in everything he showed you. It's really because God really show you stuff. And y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all watching this and you saw you got a different view than them there, it's like you know that you chosen for this. Like, seek Yah, read your word, download these apps, get a devotional. But it's another thing, it's heavy prayer. Prayer is good. Prayer and listen to his voice, you know what I mean? It's mad demonic spirits, energy, people that's trying to throw you off, like, so you gotta really aim for it, you know what I mean? Because God he not gonna give you nothing you can't beat. He not gonna give you nothing that is not you, he not gonna give you no challenge that you're not ready for. It's up for you to be up for the challenge, because you could defeat the challenge easily if he giving it to you. So we in Ruba, we litty, regular litty, but I'm getting this revelation like, this ain't it. I'm like, this ain't it, but it's normally it. Like, we normally be having fun. We pool parties, you know, regular vacation stuff. I'll put some clips here.
Hey, we litty, you heard? Hey. Litty out here, bird life. Litty Bugatti, and we litty. Bless. Live life, man. That's what we do. That's what we do, baby.
And this is why I get my life randomly like this. We in the yacht party. So I'm sitting there, I'm at the edge of the boat, looking out in the water, we in the Aruba. I'm like, this ain't it. I said it to myself, like, this ain't it. It's like it's put on my head. This is a dub. Like, there's girls in their bikinis running around, people spraying champagne off the boat, a cigar. I'm smoking cigars out there, like stuff I ain't even into. I'm like, yo, none of this is it. Like, it just went by. My whole life went by. Boom. It's like, this ain't it. It's like a life. For me personally, you can't see your future, but you know that none of this stuff that you did is in your future. At one moment, like, you make the decision, this is done. You're not gonna care for it. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. I went to my brother Mullah. Me and Mullah, we do everything together. So, you know, I'm praying for him hard. I need him on this wave. Y'all gotta pray for him too. Hopefully by the time y'all watch the video, he in one of the next videos with me. I walk up to him, because it was his birthday. That's why we even went out there. But I'm like, this is my last trip. He's like, what you talking about? And then from that day on, I think we went out there for like 6 days or something like that. That was probably like day 3 or something. Day 2 or 3. But the next 3 days, I just stayed in my room. Like, I come out in the day, do a little stuff, sightseeing, just go back in the room, not going to no parties. I ain't do nothing, no pool parties, no nothing. I just stayed in the room, reading my devotion in heavy prayer. Like, this is not it. Like, I want to be better. I want to be a better role model. I want to be a better witness to people. I want to have a better relationship with you. I want to know you. I want to live like you. I just was in heavy prayer, like, please, like, give me a different view on life. Give me wisdom. Give me discernment. Give me strength to make better decisions. Because you run away a lot. You run away from heavy pornography. You run away from heavy peer pressure. You run away from drinking, smoking. You run away from getting bullied. Like, you really get bullied for living a godly lifestyle because they trying to tease you because you're doing something different. So you really got to ask for strength and discernment to not be steered the wrong. Like, because other people, other religions, like, oh, this is this. It's like, nah, I'm building my relationship with the Most High that created it all. So that's when it started. I got a different light on me. It's like, boom. Came home. On top of that, my wife about to smack me. She just saw me dirty whining. On day 2, I'm dirty whining on the yacht. That was a mess. So I tell her my experience. This is a dub, blah, blah. She's always a dub, right? She got me on punishment. But I'm on my word anyway. So I came home. I was watching mad videos. So I was watching mad commentary videos. I was watching mad Bible story videos. I was just heavy. YouTube, 1,000 videos on YouTube. Read the word, video. After I finished reading the book, it's funny. It's like you kind of know on this way too. Because once you get that revelation, you start hating everybody you know that's got a relationship with God. You know what I mean? And you ever had people, you be like, y'all want this person to pray for me because his prayer work. It's like you kind of know you ain't there. Even though you be like, nah, I love God. I have a beautiful relationship with God. You always know, like, I'm going to call him because I know he loved God type of thing. Or I know his prayer works. And then when you look at, what is that? What's the scripture? James 5, 16, I think. And it was like the prayer of a righteous person has great strength or something like that. No, it's James 5:16. The prayer of a righteous person has great power when it's working. I think that's what it is. So boom. So I'm speaking to different people, like blah blah. They giving me advice. They sending me, you know what I mean, Bible verses to read, the devotion breakdown. So I'm building that connection. So when I came back, I was already going to Agape, like I said, missing Sundays, blah, blah, but I resubmitted my membership form. So you go to church, they be like, if you new member, sign up here, text new members to 797979, blah, blah, blah. So I resubmitted my membership form, and I did this already. This is the godly part of it. So I was also going to church. I was in and out, didn't talk to nobody. You go to church, you go home. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not meeting no new friends, nothing. But so all the guys in the premarital class, they was a part of the church. So I built a relationship with some of them. So they was praying for me. I feel like they was praying for me also. And that really helps. It really be people praying for you. I'm one of them people. I really be praying for a lot of people. So I call up. They called me up like, hey man, I see you just signed up, but I never even got this the first time I signed up, and I've been signed up. So that's the funny part. So I'm like, what's going on? My man Jordan called me, great energy. He did. I'm telling him the story like, yo, this and this. He like, what? That's wonderful. I'm like, yo, I know blah blah. He said, oh, what? Blah blah. I'm telling him about some of the mentors. My man Al from the premarital class. He like, what? Oh, that's my man. So I'm like, yeah. Then he did a big prayer for me. When I tell you the type of prayer he did for me, it wasn't like he was even talking, because he didn't even know all of this stuff. Like, he was talking mad stuff. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do great with your nonprofit. And y'all could really think I'm making this up. He came with mad energy. You'd be like, this is the best prayer I ever heard. Like, I want him to pray for me every day when I wake up. He came with heavy energy. I'm like, yo, blah, blah. Boom. Then the next day I got another call from my main man, my man John. I'm gonna put a picture of me and my boy John up here. Get a call from John. He like, hey, you signed up for the discipleship program? When I tell you I OD, didn't sign up for no discipleship program. No. But I know it's the Father working. I'm like, discipleship program? He like, yeah. Then he started explaining. He ain't even wait for me to say yeah. He started explaining the discipleship program. When I gotta come get my books, blah, blah. I'm like, I bet I'm down. Boom. So now I'm in the discipleship program. Me and Jordan talk texting now. We gotta rebuild. So this is the practical sense. Like, a lot of people give they life to God, but this is the practical sense. I'm thinking like, all right, now my crew is too turned up. Now this is not, you're not dissing and switching out your friends, but you gotta know that I gotta meet new people, because peer pressure is a real thing. Like, you're gonna move and act like who you're around. I'm not saying you can't be around and talk to your real friends no more, but you also need some influence that's more positive, that's gonna tell you to do the right thing. So I said, let me sign up for all the church. So I'm lucky to be in a big church. So I'm like, let me sign up for all the church activities, the fit ministry, the food ministry, the men's ministry program. But a lot of stuff wasn't even going on right now due to COVID and all of that craziness. It wasn't even no church at the time. Everything was online only. But I signed up for the food ministry. So the church I'm at, we do food drives once a month, bunch of different food, but we need to do packing, food delivery. It's a bunch of different work. So if y'all in the New Jersey area and want to sign up, holla at me. So I signed up for that. So I'm thinking, I'm signing up for a bunch of stuff, because I'm like, now being around church people don't mean, it's hypocrites and all kind of stuff everywhere you go. But I'm saying I have a better chance being around somebody that's a positive impact in the church building than outside. Like, and it really worked. So I got a video productions company. So I also applied for the media ministry. I applied for the media ministry. I applied for the food ministry. I applied for the fit ministry, because I work out heavy. I work out like 5 times a minimum, 6, sometimes 7 times a week, because I just enjoy it. Now, all of this is happening in like a week, like once I came back. So the fit ministry was having a 10K race. I never even ran 10K, so I signed up for that too. I bet. So look, I'm in my word, my wife in her word. She in heavy prayer. So I'm watching a bunch of YouTube videos. I'm diving in my word. I'm diving in my devotion. I'm praying heavy. And I'm really building that relationship, making them connections, seeing like, wow, this story. And when you read it, I feel like you got to read it and know that it's true. Like, if you read it empty, like, oh, they acting, you missing out on the whole story. Like, really read it and believe. So now with the disciple program, somebody disciple you, which is my man John, and then you disciple another and keep going. Once a year, you get somebody new. So it's a great evangelizing and building program, and you build a relationship. So John became another mentor to me. He teaching me the word. It's just really having teachers all over and expanding your friendship. I joined the media ministry. Dope. Some of my main mans in the media ministry now. We got a Christian podcast that's about to drop. So he just was blessing me everywhere I go, meeting connections. And we don't have to, when you go to church, you don't have to have all the same views the pastor got. It's good to question everybody. A lot of people leave the relationship because of church hurt. Leave the religion because of church hurt, or scandals and stuff like that. You gotta really be focused on your walk. It was a dope video that's on that. I'm gonna put it right here too, so y'all can watch it real quick.
Pastor? Oh, hello. How are you doing? I will not be attending church anymore. I see some on their phone during service, I see some gossiping, and I see some just not living right. They're all just hypocrites. Take a glass of water and walk around the church 2 times, and don't let any water fall out of the glass. 1, 2. Okay, I'm done. Ah, great. Did you see anybody on their phone? Did you see anybody living wrong? I didn't see anything because I was so focused on this water not falling out of the glass. Really? That's how focused you should be on God.
The 4 to 10K, right? This is regular. I'm meal prepping. I'm getting ready for the race. I'm working out heavy. I did a whole meal prep, and God called me. Like, I just felt in His spirit. He like, yeah, you gotta fast. I'm like, fast? I never fasted in my life before. He like, you gotta fast. I'm like, fast? I gotta fast for what? This is just after meal prepping. Like, I got bowls ready. I'm telling you, I had to throw bowls away because my wife don't eat no meat. And that right now, I'm not even eating meat. It's a lot of transitioning quick. That's another video why I went mostly plant-based. So I had to throw away mad food, but he like I only did water straight. And then when the fasting, you can't tell nobody you're going through a fast. You gotta be like, nah, you gotta go through your fast. Like, nah, I'm straight. I'm gonna eat later, or blah blah. And in this, when you fasting, you really diving into your word. You're not getting regular food, so you gotta really dive into your spiritual food. And my wife was worried about me, like, hey, I don't think you should do that because you got this 10K race coming up. This is like a week before the 10K. He told me to go on a 7-day water fast. So I only did 5 days. In the last 2 days, I rehydrated. Like, when you only drink water for that long, you gotta only have like a little bit of fruit the day before. I think the next day I had like a soup or something like that. And the next day I did a 10K. Did a 10K race, and it was the fastest in our agape group. I think like number 60 or something worldwide out of the men's. Or nationwide out of the men's, and I think like 135 wide out of everybody, something like that. I'm gonna put up the pictures right here, y'all can see. So from there, it just been going on like that, crazy. So a little bit after that, I got engaged. This we already finished the marriage class and all of that. So a little bit after that, I got engaged. So the main thing about like getting saved and being on this walk, you're gonna be convicted with certain stuff. So like I said, I was messing with my wife for years, probably 4 or 5 years before we got married. Now, when we got saved, so she got saved before me. She got saved, she was deep in my walk prayer closet. I'm like, what you doing in there? But I ain't never interrupted. I'm like, I was down whatever move she made. So then I got saved, that's even great. Now we both on it, boom, boom, boom. We both getting into the word, reading the word together, prayers together. I ain't really like praying together at first because you really gotta grow in certain things. I used to have to pray hard for boldness and not to be like insecure or be like uncomfortable. You know what I mean? This is the Father we praying to. We can do this all day. So one of the things we got convicted on was being celibate. So that's the start of it. Boom, we got being celibate. So we celibate for like a year. I think it was like a year. Or like 10 months, something crazy. Celibate before. We not having sex before we get married. We didn't want to get baptized. I mean, we didn't want to get married before we got baptized also. But it was an issue with the baptismal pool, so we had to wait till after we got married. But we been celibate for mad long. And that was a lot that you got to pray for. But when you could defeat them battles of lust and temptations within yourself, other people, you be like, who up? I don't even see it, but it's really practice, turning your head, really same thing being celibate, separating yourself, not staying together. Well, she ended up getting convicted on us living together also, just for our witness in general. Because you could say you celibate, people could look and be like, man, so God, I guess, put it on us for our witness to hold us accountable. So she ended up moving out. We ended up switching. So God bless us enough that her parents was with this, because most people not gonna be with this. They like, nah. At first they kind of said that like, nah, y'all bugging, but they were supportive in it. So some weeks she'd stay at her parents' house, some weeks I'd stay out, and we'd be switching back and forth. And we ain't stay together till we got married. I think that was like 6 months. Everybody was looking at us like we bugging then, but you help you grow on so many different levels. So many different levels you grow. So I'm not telling y'all to do it. That's just some things we got convicted on. Another thing is too, when you fully commit, them convictions come heavy. Like, I did hip hop music, talk raw, all that, listen to hip hop my whole life. since I was a baby. Before I said Google Gaga, I said yeah, You know what I mean? I wasn't rapping since I was a baby, but I'm listening to rap music my whole life. But then I really gave my life and you really start listening to the words. I don't have beef with none of them. It really just uncomfortable to listen to. I can't listen to drill music all day because it's gonna put you in that gangster, upset mindset, like revenge mindset. I can't listen to somebody talking about they violating a woman all day because I'm dropping projects like Know Your Worth and I'm chilling with my wife. It's like, I can't listen to a project saying, yeah, we slutted. It's like, it just ain't go with me. Boom, we get married. Boom, we get baptized. Boom, it's just going on. Life is just amazing. God is working through me.
It's a new man right there.
I'm talking to people, I'm growing in my word, I'm learning different things, I'm reading Hebrew, Greek text. It just elevated quickly. Like I said, we got the Christian podcast going on, I got this going on, and it's just been a wonderful journey. Like, it really went from 0 to 100. Now the new look is not even about the new walk, you know what I mean, with the Most High. I'm just trying stuff while I'm young. I see a lot of people going old and stuff like that, so I gave the waves a break. I'll be like, let me get these looks out while I got a chance. I don't want to be old and trying to try something different. The main thing is though, this is better than anything else. Like, you really have a peace of mind. This is amazing. This is amazing. You really blessed. Now, I'm open, man. You can hit me. Anybody that want to hit me and go back and forth. And the main thing is, you can't listen to nobody else. I heard all the rumors before I got in my walk. You know what I mean? Oh, the Bible is fake. Oh, they took books out. Oh, they use that for slavery. I heard all that to give you information on anything you might need. This is an amazing walk. And the main thing is, don't be in religion, be in relationship. And when you grow and love the Father and also fear the Father and fear the consequences of not living properly, but also understand that living properly is only beneficial to you. When you're not lying, when you're not sleeping around with soul ties, you gaining and you get married, have a beautiful wife, you be fruitful, or you just follow Yah in whatever way he wanted, or whatever, follow Christ or whatever way that he want to take you, you're going to have peace in that. Like recently, it's Friday. I think it's the 28th. I'm tripping right now. My grandmother died like 4 days ago. And of course I'm hurting, I got pain, but I got peace in knowing that she was the Most High. I got peace in understanding that we all gonna die, and I have peace. I'm ready to die now. And not that I want to, and I don't want to cause nobody pain, but when you in your relationship, you know where you going and you living for the will of the Father. I'm not living for the will of me. It was stressing the will of me. Oh, I want a Bentley, so I'm not happy where I'm at. Or I want a mansion, so I'm not happy in my house. And when you're really looking for the next thing, and it's cooler, want great things, to be motivated for it, but you're not living for it. You living for Yah. Now if he give it to you and you figure out the reason that he give it to you, that's beautiful. But if he don't, that's beautiful, because you having a good day regardless, because you living in his will and what he got for you. And the thing is, you could want all of them things. This will really help me. Like, you can want all of them things, and that don't mean that's the best thing for you. The person that created you know the best thing for you. Follow him. And the thing is also, like, even in this walk, is mad stuff you go through. Sometimes they paint it like, oh, you walking with God, so your life is amazing, right? No, I have peace regardless of what I go through. I can go through ups and downs, but it's not going to change my view because I know it's in God's hands. Now, I might not feel that way in a second. Like recently, this after I get saved, and it's still working on you, working on building your character, your mindset, and also how you move. So certain things going to stay on. You're not going to be brand new the next day. You're not going to be brand new the next day. It's an ongoing walk. You in motion of getting sanctified by the Holy Spirit. So every day you waking up, you dying to yourself a little bit, and you getting born again in him. Through him you want to live. You know what I mean? But it's hard. It's not an easy walk. It's a bunch of things that's going to try to distract you. The whole world is against you. You going left, the whole world going right. And they saying you bugging. Oh, you not doing that? You bugging. You not doing that? You taking it too far. You not doing that? Oh, you follow all of them laws? And you like, nah, it's not like that. Even so, me, I used to be mad flashy. I used to be like, I wasn't overly flashy, but I knew like I was getting attention. Like I didn't have to have a big shiny thing on, blah, 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 blah. So they got me with my joint at. So I had my chain. So this happened recently. I was at a funeral. I was at my cousin's funeral. R.P. Russ, man. So this is this is more about God though in general. So, but I used to have this on like a big Cuban link type of thing. I had my chain on a big Cuban link. And that was on this little small one. So I went to my cousin's funeral, had on my suit and all that stuff, my ring and everything. I had my chain on. Now the funeral finished, and this is just God working. So the funeral finished, they having regular celebration. So my cousin regular lived in the hood. You know what I mean? We all from the hood. So they having a celebration middle of the hood. So me, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go for a little bit, I'm not going home. So that's the only reason I take my chain on. You know the aspects of the hood. Nobody's not too gangster to get caught up slipping. But I had my wife with me, but I had my mom's with me also. So my mom's ain't see my family in mad long from my father's side, so she trying to stay mad long. I'm like, yo, ma, we out. And I parked a little far. I just made bad decisions that day, but it was for me to learn a lesson because I still ain't get that pride, ego, not being humble enough, not having enough empathy. I didn't get that, but now that's a big lesson I learned past that. So we was there for hours, too long. Now I had this on a big Cuban joint. Maybe I put a picture of the joint. So now we leaving, it's like 3 in the morning. I parked too far. So I walked all the way there, ran down on me with the hammer. Hammer's a gun, I don't know who watching this. It ran down on me with the hammer. Yo, run that, boom, put it to my head. So my wife and my mom's right there. Son right here came up to me. So I try to like dodge it type of thing, run away. So I'm running away, his man's came, another hammer. Yo, where you going? Put it right here to my train. I'm like, dang, they really get me. So now in this moment, I don't fear nothing though. Like, it's a different, and it's not saying I wasn't scared of that, none of that stuff. One, I wasn't though, because I was in my walk for a while now. Not a while, but my life is different. Like, God be blessing me mentally. Like, I really get on another level quick. And not saying I'm better than nobody, but my understanding for stuff just be different. And my leadership like just be different. Like that's why, dang, I ain't even telling him about that. But son put the hammer to me, boom. So he like, yo, run that. So I'm thinking like, dang, like, you know, like I'm not even thinking like I don't want to die. I'm thinking like, dang, I'm tight. They got me. Like I know better than this type of thing. Cause I've been moving around a long time. I'm like, dang, I know better than this. So they regularly got me for my chain, my watch, my wedding ring at the time. This same watch too. They got me for my watch. I had another wedding ring that was kind of like this, and they got me for my chains. So I was so mad, like, yo. But I wasn't scared, though. Everybody asked me, you okay? Like, you shaking up? Like, he could have killed you. I'm like, nah, he wasn't going to kill me. Like, I just felt it. But then when I sat back, so everybody, you know, people calling me, yo, what you want us to do? So I said, nah. Because, you know, people live their lifestyle. They like, yo, what you want us to do? So I was mad that day. I was riding around. It was at night, I'm riding around, 3 in the morning, my wife like, let's go home. My mother's scared, I felt bad, you know, because they had to see all of that type of stuff. And going through that get you more upset. You like, yo, y'all put my wife and my mother through that situation. So I'm riding around. My wife like, let's go home, forget about that. And they broke my phone too, I was tight. But I think they broke my phone because I had a picture of them on my phone. So I go home, talking to people, blah, blah. When I get home, so I meditate on it, you know what I mean? As far as like I pray on it. So I'm praying on it, pray till I fall asleep when I wake up. And then it just dawned on me like, that was, so a lot of people was like, you gotta be more humble. It really wasn't humble. That definitely added to it. But it really was having empathy and thinking about these other people's situations. So I ended up letting them rock because the lifestyle they live in, something like that, I mean, something bad gonna happen to them living that lifestyle. They gonna be in certain situations that I'm not gonna experience because I don't have to live that lifestyle. I didn't have enough empathy and think for them about putting them in that situation. These are a lot of people going through poverty-stricken, horrible situations, broke. They feel like they need money, and I come through super flashy, like everybody in sweatpants and baggy. I'm coming through in a suit, Cuban up, chain blinging, watch blinging, married, relationship. Now it looked like you stunting on them. And I didn't try to do that, but I didn't have enough sense to know what to wear when I go where. And I kind of knew because that's why I was just going to do a drive-by, but still I didn't all the way. And I didn't think about nobody else. Had us making this feel that I'm stunting on them, I'm playing them, and they can't feed their family. And they look like I'm feeding 30 families. So that was the lesson in that. And it showed that he spared my life. He could have shot me. They just killed my brother. I didn't kill my brother. They just killed my cousin on that same block at the corner of that block. I'm in the middle of that block. gun to my head. They killed my brother. They killed my cousin. He like my brother. My bad, y'all. R.P. Russ. They killed Russ at the corner of that block. I'm getting robbed in the middle of that block. 2 guns on me. They could have easily shot me. Boom. So it just showed the way God really be with you. Really be blessed without knowing it. It don't even take all of that. When you just wake up in the morning using your arms and your leg, you blessed. You wake up in the morning, you be able to talk and see and hear and smell. You really blessed. So act like it. You know what I mean? Love who loves you. Now, Most High love you a lot. Died for you. See, he died for you to give you grace in order. You knew you was gonna act stupid. Another thing is, agape really lit on the low. I ain't gonna lie. Like, everybody don't have to agree with everything they do. I don't agree with everything they do, but that makes the beauty and growth and conversation and growing in the walk, because it's a personal walk. You can't be too judgmental that you not focusing on you. You gotta, what's that scripture? Hold on. I wrote that one. It's one of my joints. Yeah, Philippians 2:12. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Like, you gotta work out your own salvation. So you could talk about, I don't think blah, blah. Like me personally, I don't rock with none of the holidays. I feel like they pagan. That's just me personally, but I don't have beef with you if you rock with Christian. I can inform you of my view, you do your view, we keep it pushing. It's really not supposed to be no tension or all these denominations, all that in the body. You can inform somebody and that's it. So I also signed up for Pneuma Life through them. It's theology school, and I signed up for the leadership program, and it's through Oral Roberts University. Dr. M. Biggins was my professor. She was amazing. Like, she gave me a whole nother view. Dope. She even told me that thing on, you really read the scriptures 3-4 times before you move on. Like, we had a dope thing. It was about finding your niche, finding your purpose. It's some dope books. So in this walk, surrounding yourself with the word is very beneficial. This joint was heat, finding your niche. Spiritual leadership, heat, celebration of discipline. This joint, the power of a praying husband, heat. She had the power of a praying wife. Heat rock. Give two. Somebody gave me this for my wedding. After you say I do devotional. Great book. And I went up to the altar. I did that altar call, all that stuff 1,000 times. Like, oh, want to get saved, want to get saved. I remember young to old high school, we used to go up there. But you never really grasp it until you really accept it. And not accept it as, oh, I believe. Believe as in trust. Like, no, this is your Savior. This is your Lord. If this is your Lord and Savior, why are you not following him? If it's your Lord and Savior, and this is the God of this is the universe, this is Yahuah, the person that made everything. From the atoms that made up this desk to the little bit of hairs on your arm. He could count every hair on your body. How you not following him? But when you really get that revelation and get that light, really make that decision. You know what I mean? So you could be good forever. Good for a lifetime. You're not good for people live for 120 years, the most 100 years, 90 years. You good forever. Forever. You got nothing to worry about. Now we back at it. I'm doing music again, but only clean music, only for the Most High. You know what I mean? The clothing line, you see what it is, the body, because we the body of Christ. Shout out to my boy Jay, man. New merch is out now, and you just walking righteously. You a witness to other people. We got a men's Bible study going on every Saturday. So I'm just, and it's not even me. All the great things I ever did is not even me. It's up. You know what I mean? The Most High, he blessed me with that to motivate and inspire and be a witness to others. And with that come a lot on my plate. You know what I mean? So you got to stay in heavy prayer. And it's always more to learn. You can read the Bible. That's what we learn in the Bible. Say, like, you read the same verse 40 times and find 40 different things. Or if you check on precepts upon it, you find 1,000,000 different things. So that's the beauty of it. So that's my testimony. Any other questions? It's hard to wrap your whole life because it's really about your whole life when you really think back on it. It's really hard to wrap your whole life in one video. If you got any other questions or anything, feel free to hit me up. Social media, comment under the video. Subscribe for more vlogs coming soon. Music videos coming soon. Lyric videos coming soon. And I'm out here.